Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Welcome back and nice to have you here. I also say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh for Muslim viewers and listeners, and Ramadan Kareem. So I wish you a blessing, a peaceful month of Ramadan. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started. Here are the news and Concerned Citizens Media comment for April 13, 2021. Abiy Ahmed's war on Oromos intensified in Wellega, Borena, and other Oromia zones. To maximize the Oromo sufferings in Oromia, Abiy Ahmed is coordinating his war crimes with forces from Eritrean Criminal Forces, Amhara Special Forces, Oromia Militia, Ethiopian Army, and Federal Police. He also cut or shut down internet and phone service in Wellega zone, just like before, to avoid accountability and to cover up the war crimes and the genocides his forces are carrying out against the Oromos from domestic and international communities. Concerned Citizens Media calls on international media and the global communities to pay attention to these intensified war crimes against Oromos in Oromia region and address it very seriously before too late. Do not allow Abiy Ahmed and his criminal collaborators to repeat the kinds of atrocities and war crimes they already carried out in Tigray to do it again in Oromia. Demand for urgent reconnection of phone and internet service in the region. Again, my plea to all Oromos and the global communities is this. Please do not allow the Oromos to be slaughtered in these closed-door criminal operations. Speak up and be the voice for the voiceless Oromos who have been subjected to Abiy Ahmed and his criminal supporters' endless atrocities on their own land. So extensive war is waging in Oromia region and 7 other fronts. So it's a very, very tough situation, and to avoid the reporting from these regions and plus others, he he cut the internet and the phone service just like before. It had been like that for a while. So this is is a criminal act. It should be exposed to the global community, so the Oromos living in other zones and the global community plus the global community also has a right to know what's happening in Wellega against the Oromos. It's a very tough situation, so we have to speak up and we have to demand for the immediate connection of the services and for the end of this war from the Oromos and others. General Ababa Garasu rejected some media claims about Oromo Liberation Front's operations and related casualties. General Ababa said that OLF injuring him and in their Ambo attack, and about the killing of Getinnet Mulugeta, Oromia security chief, in their Nekamte operations are fabricated propaganda and false. According to the social media claims, citing the general's word as evidence, both these individuals are safe and sound. They are carrying out their duties against OLF as planned. OLF is currently defending Oromia region from invaders in multiple fronts, and it is also gaining remarkable victories against the forces who are trying to eliminate federal system in Ethiopia and attempting to establish a unitary prosperity party in the country by military force. So the fighting ongoing, and some media claim, the injuring of this general and the security chief, but the general said he's fine, and the other guy is not. He's not died. So we're gonna follow it, but it's already reported. So the conflict is in at highest level, and they want to eliminate Oromos to establish the unitary government in that country. I don't know if they will be successful, but they are trying. Eritrean criminal forces are not out from the Tigray region, despite Ethiopian government claims. Eritrean criminal forces are still operating in the Tigray and continue inflicting terror and pain on residents. Yesterday, these Eritrean criminal forces killed 3 and injured more than 20 unarmed civilians in Adwa town. The Ethiopian government never said a word on the killings and injuries of its own citizens by foreign government criminal forces. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed told the whole world that Eritrea pulled out of Tigray. However, various media are reporting of Eritrean forces using Ethiopian military uniforms and operating extensively in Tigray and Oromia regions. Lying to Ethiopians and to the global communities became the daily occurrence under Abiy Ahmed administration. So far, nobody is held accountable for these lies. So they just keep saying something, they cannot do it, and the Ethiopians ignore it. The global community and demanding clarifications. The Abiy Ahmed is buying time through lying, and the Ethiopians, they don't care. Mostly those supporting Abiy Ahmed, they don't care whether he lie or not. They don't care at this time, because they are getting temporary benefit under his leadership. So whatever he do, whatever happen, whatever he lie, and they don't care. They just, ignore it. A bomb explosion at hotel in Oromia region killed and injured security personnel. Last Saturday, the bomb was exploded at Sokam Hotel in western Wellega, Oromia region, and caused the death of 1 person and injuries to 9 security personnel. The explosion also caused significant damage to the hotel's structure and properties. Nobody claimed responsibility for this attack. The authorities blamed Abba Torbe armed group for this incident. Iran blamed Israel for terrorist attack on its nuclear sites. Iran Foreign Ministry spokesman blamed Israel for sabotage at the underground Natanz nuclear facility. Said Khatibzadeh made the comment on Monday, warning that Iran will take revenge against Israel. Mr. Said said Israel will receive its answer through its own paths. He didn't elaborate what he meant or what kind of revenge Iran is taking. The detail of the site's damage is not open to the general public. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said, "My policy as a Prime Minister of Israel is clear. I will never allow Iran to obtain the nuclear capability to carry out its genocidal goal of eliminating Israel. And Israel will continue to defend itself against Iran's aggression and terrorism," Netanyahu added. Israel's government is doing everything to sabotage or cause the failure of the Biden administration's intention to 2015 nuclear deal with Iran and lifting the sanction placed on Iran by former President Donald Trump. Several Iranian scientists lost their lives as the results of Israeli and others undercover operations against Iran nuclear programs. Israel is known to have its own nuclear bomb, but never acknowledged it officially to the global community. But it's known that she has the nuclear bomb, but she doesn't want Iran to have it, so to have the upper hand. So these are the reading materials for today, and I will now share the videos with you. Let's see. Okay, give me time again. I have some videos to share. There we go. That looks okay now. So the first one is the line to get fuel at the gas station in Addis Ababa. Let's see. Just look at it. How long is this line? And it says no fuel in all cities. Look how long is it? just to get the fuel and do daily business. Let's just keep going. It's going. It could take hours and hours to get fuel. So this is another indication of the failure of the Ethiopian leadership. But Ethiopians, still tolerating. Still they are quiet. He say about 2 kilometers. Long line. This is another line to pay their electric bill. There is also a long line. Very long line to pay your electric bill in Ethiopia. Okay, that's good. That's another sign of the failure of the country. Okay, I have another one. Give me time.
Incomparable design makes it beautiful. State-of-the-art technology makes it brilliant. The Lexus NX. Experience the crossover in it.
Andrew Simmons takes a look back at his life.
He was by her side throughout the longest reign of a monarch in British history. For Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, it wasn't only a marriage, but a life of service to his wife, Queen Elizabeth II. Born into Greek and Danish royalty, Philip had a lonely childhood. He was taken under the wing of the British aristocracy. When he married the then Princess Elizabeth in 1947, he was a promising young naval officer. It was a fairy tale wedding for a country emerging from war and hardship. It all changed for the young couple when Elizabeth's father, King George VI, died at only 56 years of age. She became queen, and Philip, in the words of his private secretary, looked as if the world had fallen down on him. His naval career ended along with his independence.
Prince Philip was sort of forced into making huge sacrifices. He was very much a man's man, not someone who was going to naturally fall into the position of playing second fiddle and walking 2 paces behind his
this is
wife and calling her ma'am in public and so on.
The contribution they are doing for the passing of
engagements a year. He did, however, manage to find time
Phillips,
for his own charities,
who just
helping
died
young people and conserving wildlife.
Very energetic.
Last 3 days, I think, at the
sort
age of 99.
So those were sort of, on the positive side, the attributes.
He was a husband of Queen Elizabeth II.
His detractors would say that, some of his forthrightness could come across as rudeness.
Philip did have a reputation for embarrassing and politically incorrect remarks, whether he was being rude about the Chinese or Indians, or swearing at photographers, often a sideshow to formal occasions. Yet even though an air of racism hung over him, a staunchly royalist UK media generally forgave him.
He was certainly given a much easier ride than politicians. Politicians who tend to make a racist or an offensive remark in this day and age tend to have to apologise a couple of days later because there's so much pressure on them. But I'd never known Prince Philip to apologise for a remark, and I remember once he wandered over after he'd said to an Aboriginal leader, "Do you still throw spears at each other?" And I saw him do this in Australia in 2002, and the next day he came over, it made front pages all over the world, and he just wandered over and said, "The trouble with you is you've got no sense of humour, a complete absence of humour." So he wasn't going to apologise.
His retirement from public duties came in 2017 with a send-off from the Royal Marines. Whatever the faults, his 60 years of public service was admired by many people. While their marriage was said to have had its ups and downs in the couple's younger years, Prince Philip remained dedicated and supportive to the Queen. She'll receive immense sympathy from a British public known to view her with respect and affection.
When school isn't a place you have to be, why not go to school where remote learning can be as remote as you want? These are some plants I found hiking. Here we have a pine cone, and then...
Good day, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the Voice of Reason. So in today's Horn of Africa update, I'm going to give some more battlefield updates in terms of areas that have fallen under the control of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Information has come in that the TDF is now on the outskirts of Adigrat, and in fact there are Tigrayan Defense Force units operating in the suburbs, the outer suburbs, a few kilometers outside of the town of Adigrat. We also understand that the A2 highway leading through the mountainous areas towards Adigrat can no longer be used by either the Eritrean army or the Ethiopian army as well. Additionally, there are reports coming in that Tigrayan Defense Forces are also not too far from Adwa. There is Tigrayan Defense Force units to the east of Adwa along the A2 highway, occupying several towns along the A2 highway, and much of this mountainous area that you can see south of the A2 highway. Many of these small towns and small rural communities are firmly in the control of the Tigrayan Defense Forces, and we could see a theoretical push towards Adwa and or Adigrat, with operations possibly being conducted in both of these cities at some point. But the operations and the Tigrayan Defense Forces that are operating inside of the eastern central area along the A2 highway has been consolidated under TDF control, and we will await further information on any ongoing activity that could occur. Our understanding is that Eritrean forces that are both based in Adigrat and Adwa are increasingly worried and have shown to be very twitchy on the trigger, so to speak, and are ready to engage targets very quickly out of the concern of a possible infiltration of Tigrayan Defense Forces into Adwa and Adigrat. But again, we will monitor the situation and report updates as we get them. Thanks, everybody.
Issuing a stern warning to Beijing, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said that the United States is concerned about China's aggressive actions against Taiwan. Blinken warned that it would be a serious mistake for anyone to try to change the status quo in Western Pacific by force.
What we've seen and what is a real concern to us is increasingly aggressive actions by the government in Beijing directed at Taiwan, raising tensions in the Straits. And we have a commitment to Taiwan under the Taiwan Relations Act, a bipartisan commitment that's existed for many, many years to make sure that Taiwan has the ability to defend itself and to make sure that we're sustaining peace and security in the Western Pacific. We stand behind those commitments. And all I can tell you is it would be a serious mistake for anyone to try to change the existing status quo by force.
The White House said it was keeping a close watch on increased Chinese naval activity in the Taiwan Strait and called Beijing's actions potentially destabilizing. The U.S. State Department recently issued new guidelines that will enable U.S. officials to meet more freely with officials from Taiwan. The United States has repeatedly warned China against its aggressive moves near Taiwan. The U.S. says that new Chinese naval activity around Taiwan is a pattern of ongoing Chinese intimidation efforts in the region. Last month, the U.S. and Taiwan signed an agreement to boost cooperation between their coast guards in a move to push back at China's increasingly assertive maritime activities. The U.S. has also been deploying its coast guard to the Western Pacific to help allies enforce their claims in disputed waters. Taiwan has complained of repeated military activities by Beijing in recent months. Taiwan says that more than 15 Chinese jets have crossed into its air defense identification zone. But China says that an aircraft carrier group was exercising close to the island. Beijing claims full sovereignty over Taiwan. China has been applying pressure on Taiwan by sending a large number of ships, which it claims to be fishing vessels into disputed South China Sea. Taiwan is planning to stage live fire drills in the South China Sea later this month amid the spiking aggression from China.
Okay, that's a gas station again. I don't want to watch. So the last one is the Taiwan challenge in the face of the Chinese advancement in a military. China became very, very strong. Before they don't have ships, ship carrier. Now they created, they learned it from the United States, and now they have the ship carrier. They can go anywhere and flex their muscles, especially to challenge the West and to take full control of Taiwan. But the United States and others also, they don't want that to happen. So that's a challenge. Anyway, I will ask you again, listeners, to share, to follow the news especially in Oromia region. Our people are under heavy military operations, as if one country fighting with another country. And the information is very tight, very limited, actually totally shut down. Nobody's reporting. All the medias in Ethiopia, they don't care about the Oromos. They want the Oromos to be crushed. That's why they don't report. The only thing they report is about the Amaras, the Amaras, the Amaras. That's why, we have to be the voice for them. So we have to email, keep emailing our representatives, let them know about what's happening now, and you know, about the internet shutdown, the phone service shutdown, and heavy military operations going on. So we have to be the voice. I know it's going to be tough with Ramadan, but we have to do through Twitter campaign, or if possible come out, you know, at least once a week to demonstrate against this war. I know some tried in Australia, some also tried in DC. We have to keep doing it, because we didn't get the solution. Still our people are under siege, under military command, and the global community, they didn't get a way to enter and save them because of their sovereignty claims. So people are dying, people are, you know, arrested arbitrarily, justice denied. Still the sovereignty claims. As long as these sovereignty claims, or until some huge explosions come out, then the global community will not respond. They are waiting for the big moment, the big open excuses, because you got the challenge of China, India, and Russia, because they have their own issues, not because they want to help Ethiopia, no, because they have their own issues with the United States. They do not support what the United States is bringing to the United Nations agenda. So some people, they think, yes, they are helping Ethiopia, or they are friendly to Ethiopia. No, that is not the issue. The issue is China has problem with the United States. Russia has problems with the United States. Still so many sanctions on these countries, and so many back and forth conflict. So they don't want to cooperate. So who is in trouble now? We and our people, because the United Nations cannot speak with one voice, even though they see the problem, even though the genocide is happening, even though the war is happening, even though the crimes against humanity is happening. They don't speak because of their personal interest. So that's the situation. So now we have to just keep demonstrating, keep doing whatever we can, and support the, you know, the movement fighting for the Oromos. You know, avoid being divided among ourselves. Speak with one voice. So we have to keep doing that, and I also express my deepest condolence for on behalf of Concerned Citizens Media for the so I express on behalf of Concerned Citizens Media the deepest condolences for the passing of Prince Philip's, and I wish comfort and strength for the families and friends, and for all who have been affected by his passing. Uh, so, Concerned Citizens Media says Prince Philip's rest in peace. And lastly, I encourage you during this month of Ramadan to remember Johar Muhammad, Bakala Garba, Hamza Borena, Mikhail Boran, Abdi Ragasa, and all Oromos who have been subjected to atrocities, command posts, genocides, rapes, injustice, and so many other grave human rights violations under Abiy Ahmed administrations. So pray for them, please. Remember them in your dua. Do it until they are free, and do it especially in these months so they can be free. So Oromia will be free from all these kind of atrocities, genocides, war crimes, and command posts for no reason, just for no reason, to crush the Oromos and to take their land and control the Oromos, control their language, control their culture, control their movement. So PP will be the dominant figure in that country. And as you see from the gas station line, and people lined up for hours and hours to pay their electric bills. This and many others are the sign of failure in that country. That country is collapsing. People waiting to get a gas and to go make money. Long line. This is one example in the capital city, but it's everywhere in towns and other cities. So it's a failure, but Ethiopians, they don't want to fix, they don't want to get up and demand accountability from their government. They just let it go. The government lie publicly on multiple media. They don't care. They just shut down because of temporary benefit they are getting from Abiy Ahmed. They don't care. They want to cover it up for him. That is the challenge we are facing. People are divided, even though they see big problem in that country, even though they see injustice in that country, even though mass arrest in that country, even though war in multiple fronts in that country against them, Ethiopians. Now they know rape is horrible. To discuss what happened in Tigray, raping your own, forcing you to rape your own family, or raping your family member in front of, the soldiers. So many horrible things happening in that country, but who gonna rise up to change this? So far, only the Tigrayans and some Oromo resistance movement. The majority are just singing Ethiopia, Ethiopia, Ethiopia. They don't care when the Ethiopians are suffering. So that's a cover-up. They're supposed to rise up. In the United States, if one person, one African American died, how much was paid? $72 million to settle that issue. How many properties damaged? How many people injured? fighting with the police, fighting with the system to change the system. But in Ethiopia, so many raped, so many killed, bodies given to wild animals, leaders arrested, and citizens arrested in a massive number. Still people are quiet. And unemployment high, government can't even pay salaries, the gas station can't service you, you can't even pay your bill on timely manner, you have to wait for hours to pay your bill. So many ugly stuffs, and people still quiet, and their leaders are lying multiple times, they ignore it. So they have to stop about looking only this temporary benefit, get up for the country, to make that country a better country for all Ethiopians. You know, that cannot cause the suffering of its own citizens by inviting a foreign army, foreign criminal army like Eritreans, and their operations, the Amara, the Eritrean, and the Ethiopian army, all of them, the militias, they have no conduct of war. No conduct of war. That's why you see all these reports of mistreatment or ill treatment of prisoners, rapes, open rapes, open killings, because there is no accountability, there is no conduct of war. That is the problem we have. So please keep your movement, your campaign, Twitter campaign, social campaign, and keep talking about that country until change is coming in that country, and keep lobbying the senators, the Congress, the Biden administrations to do something about Ethiopia, at least to create the atmosphere for dialogue and reconciliation, and for the transitional government. Forget about this election. I know they're going to conduct it, but by ignoring 60 million people, you can conduct election and declare win. You can do it, but it will not give you peace and stability in that country, and it will not bring the isolated country back to the global community. So the best thing is bring all the stakeholders, discuss the future of that country, how to save it, how to make it comfortable for 80 plus ethnicities in that country. So I'm gonna finish by saying, please, again, remember in your dua, remember in these months, all our political prisoners, all Oromos suffering under Abiy Ahmed. Pray for mercy, pray for the end of war in Wellega and other zones. So I'm going to say Ramadan Kareem again. Enjoy it with your family and friends. Please remember, keep praying for Johar, Muhammad Bakal Garabra, Hamza Borena, Abdi Ragasa, Michael Born, and all Oromos who are subjected to all atrocities and war crimes, who are suffering war, heavy bombardment as we speak. So let's keep the movement, keep the prayer going on, and I will be back with other news and comments. So thank you for joining me. Share the video. Ramadan Kareem. So long, everyone.